Estás escuchando Conversaciones de Altura.
Nice to meet you. Thanks again for doing this. I really appreciate it.
You're
Uh,
very
where are-
welcome.
where are you today? Are you in the UK?
Yeah, I'm in London at my studio.
Oh, wow, cool. You know what? I've never been to London. It's one of those cities that I worked for an airline, but never had the chance to go to London. And my
Oh,
friends go
really?
crazy about it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's I we grew up about 40, maybe 60 kilometers away, and so it's kind of felt more like home than where we grew up.
Yeah.
So I've lived here my whole life since I was like 18.
That's awesome. And now you live like downtown London?
I live in northeast London. In When I had a kid 15 years ago, we kind of moved a little bit further out, but we live in a really nice place called Walthamstow, where we can get into the centre in like 20 minutes.
Oh,
But
that's
we
cool.
also
That's
have
cool.
we also have the forest and places to like chill places to go.
Oh, that's cool. That's the best of the two worlds. You have like
Hmm.
the modern part of the city, but you also have like the nature, right? That's something I
Yeah.
wanna do when I get married or something. Because
Okay. Yeah.
I get overwhelmed by the city. So
Yeah.
is your studio in your home, or do you have like another place for your studio?
No, it's in my home now. I had a studio until about 4 years ago in central London, and then I went freelance. Yeah, like 2001 or two. In
Oh,
fact,
okay.
Andy and Ashley and I from the band, we worked together as composers for like 20 so years
Oh,
in
nice.
in a company, and then we went freelance like, yeah, about 4 years ago.
Oh,
So
cool.
I moved the studio to home. That's where I am now.
Do you prefer it that way? Because I have the feeling that sometimes having a studio at your place can be tricky because you have like the distractions of your home, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, after Chapterhouse, I became a producer and an engineer. I had a studio in the house, and when I started doing composition in like 2000, 1999, 2000, it was actually really nice to leave the house and go to a studio and
Yeah,
work somewhere else. Um, I really enjoyed it because it was actually, it was the first time I really kind of had a job, like where I leave and do a job,
right.
and then come home and the job is over there and my home is here. But
Yes, yes.
but actually now, it's actually quite handy because of the nature of the work I do
Mm,
is very fragmented. Um, so to be able to like spend a couple of hours doing something and then leave and then a couple more hours and is actually kind of good, especially when you've got a family and stuff. So um, it's distracting, but I've also been doing it for so long. I
mm,
kind of know when I can like. It's kind of good to have inspiration when you're away from the studio, and then you can come
right.
back and do it really fast. Um, so yeah, it's kind of a mixed thing, but I actually, I am pretty much in my house the whole time, which is
Okay,
kind
yeah.
of hard. But on the other hand, um, for the nature of what I do, it's actually kind of works.
Easier. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I bet. Well, let's jump right into like the chapter house questions I have for you.
Hmm.
I've been listening to Whirlpool. Oh my God, I love that album. I love how it sounds. I'm a guitar player myself, and I'm gonna ask you some questions about that. But
Hmm.
the first question is, when you started playing together again after all these years, what was the first thing you noticed was still intact, and what things had changed completely? after revisiting these songs?
Well, the one thing that always happens when we play again together is that we really have fun.
Mm,
Um, and we reformed 16 years ago for such a short tour of the US and then Japan and a couple of shows in the UK. And one of the sort of conditions was that it would it had to be fun.
oh, for sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
so and every time we go into a studio together, like rehearse, it's like your best friends back in the room again with each
Mm,
other, and it's it's always special, and it comes back really quickly too. Like when we started rehearsing in January, we did one rehearsal each month for 4 months,
right.
and the first rehearsal within an hour, it was like, okay, we can still do this.
Yeah, yeah, I bet.
And to be honest, we're playing better than we've ever played because we have many years of experience as producers and musicians. So um, I think the thing that's most apparent coming back to it is that it's almost like nothing changed. You know.
Hmm, interesting. Did you lose that having fun mindset when you first disbanded?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And that was not because of us. It was because of outside pressures
Ah,
from
yeah, I like
from the
record
record label,
label. Yeah.
and feeling pressured to be something we weren't comfortable with. Um, we we were doing what we loved doing, and then um, by the second album and after the second album, like the musical culture had changed. It was like Britpop and grunge were like kind of taking off, and
Yeah.
our record label basically was expecting us to be doing something that we didn't feel comfortable with. So we didn't break up because we fell out as friends. We broke up because we had lost the fun. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned that because I've been talking to friends here in Mexico about that, about just making music for the sake of creating art and enjoying the company of your friends, as opposed of, okay, now we have the pressure of putting out another record, you know. So
Hmm.
I can imagine that, like back in the day, especially
Yeah,
when like record labels were very important and there were budgets, right?
they were spending a lot of money, and it was your money in the end.
Yes, yes.
So so, so they and when they spent money, it was your debt, and they could would only like get the money back through the record deal. So even though they were still making money, you were still in debt.
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
I've heard some stories about that in
yeah,
Mexico too. That happened a lot in Mexico.
yeah. So
So
it's kind of like the worst. If you went to a bank and got that deal, you would feel like ripped off big time.
yes, yes, I can only imagine.
Hmm.
So when you were writing Whirlpool, sorry about my accent. Were you writing
Not at all.
Whirlpool?
No.
What usually came first, the guitar textures, the melody, the rhythm, the idea for the song?
I think generally it came from chords, playing guitar and getting some chords together,
Oh, okay.
and then finding a melody inside those chords. Generally, Andy and I used to kind of bring completed songs to the band,
Ah,
um,
okay.
and kind of go, well, this is what I thought for the drums, this is what I thought for the bass, and Um, but it didn't always work that way. Like earlier on, we would just start with a couple of chords, and everyone would jam, and it would just turn into something, you know. But over time, when you start taking songwriting more seriously, you kind of know what you want. Like when you've got a song, it feels like, well, I know how the bass should be because I can play the bass, and I know how the drum should be, but it's not prescriptive. It's like you have to play this. It's just like, this is an idea,
Right.
like let's riff on that. And the one thing that um, was always great about Chapterhouse is that there's some very talented people
Mm.
in the band, and Ashley, our drummer, is like such a huge input to the way that we sounded. Um,
Yes. I can
um,
only imagine, man. Having a
yeah,
drummer is one of the best. Having a great drummer is one of the most difficult things to find and one of the best things to have, right?
absolutely. And you know, he's a musician, so he actually had moved from drums when he joined the band. He was like in a band of his own, playing guitar, and we
Mm.
kind of forced him back on drums again. And and then since, like I said, Andy and Ashley and I have been working as composers for many years. He's like a very talented musician and composer. He plays almost every instrument, but um, he's just so very special on the drums. Like
Yes. Yes.
nobody sounds like him, and we've realized when we've been playing just how important he is to the band. You know.
No, for sure, man. I can tell by listening to the music and having explained how you grade your music, how open were you back in the day, and now in how open are you into jamming and doing some improvisation surrounding the ideas that you brought to the table?
Well, we've never really been a big band that jams very much. Um, I think we're all quite. I think all of us are very almost like on the spectrum, like
Okay.
like we very particular, and we also never really liked music where people just like noodled like blah, 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 like for no reason. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it feels like everything has to have a purpose and a reason to exist, and so we've never really been big like jammers. You know, I think Ashley maybe has done that more with his other band Tongue. Um, but it always feels like when you're jamming that you just come back to the same stuff that you know how to play, instead of like thinking of something new. And so jamming isn't really something we really interested in some ways, because we're not really great musicians. You know, we aren't like guitar impresarios. You know, we play the guitar to make what is in our heads happen.
Right,
You know,
right, right, right.
so it's if you hear it in your head and then you can make it happen on the guitar or the bass or the drums or like, or even the synth. You know, it's like the concept in your head is more important than whether you can play it or not, and then you figure out how to play it, and then you don't have to be. So jamming is kind of like, for us, like musicians, that it's about the musicianship rather than the song.
Ah, yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah, yeah.
And we don't feel that way really.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. I mean, this is kind of like an obvious question because you have said that you're a composer, but back in the day, did you see yourself more as a music composer as opposed of a guitar player? I don't know if that makes sense.
Um, yes, definitely, yeah. I mean, guitar. The thing is that we grew up with loving Sonic Youth and Echo and the Bunnymen and the Stooges. the Doors and the Funkadelic, and it was being a great musician really wasn't the point. It was about making something with sound, and you can make really interesting things with very simple,
Right.
really very interesting music with very simple things, as long as if you have the idea of what it should sound like. So I've been playing guitar for like 45 years maybe. I think I started when I was 15. I don't know whether I'm any better than I ever was then as a guitarist.
Right.
Well, I am, and I'm not. Like I've never been interested in going. It's like it's not something I'm interested in, so I don't really want to learn it. But I do. As a composer, I generally have had to like figure out chords that are really like interesting chords, not just stuff that you play as a guitarist. It's just kind of easy, but
Right.
I never really saw. We made being a guitarist wasn't really the deal.
Yes.
It's like it wasn't like putting your foot on the monitor and being like, "Oh yeah, here I am."
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
It was about the end result rather than the method.
Right. Yeah, more of a method of expression.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious about we've talked a little bit about your grading process, but when you came up with like a chord progression, how how m- how much of an impact did using effects have on that? Or did you maybe wrote a song based on like, okay, I want to have a delay, a phaser, a chorus, as opposed to just grading the chord progression?
I think I think well, personally at least, I didn't use guitar effects to write the chords, if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
but I had an idea of what they would sound like when they went through certain things.
Mm,
It's kind of a visualization of like what this could be. Like I usually wrote songs with just a guitar, with not plugged in. But the chords were the most important thing, which was like we used a lot of triads with droning strings. I've realized after we've like kind of relearned all our songs again, like a lot of them um, are just putting your fingers on the fretboard until you hear something you like, and not really knowing what the chord is. Just like I like that. That sounds good, and this sounds good, and
right.
and then you kind of know that what it will sound like through a delay or a reverb or you kind of know already. But those things are more like they're like the icing on the cake, and so we never really wrote with effects in mind, other than sometimes like you knew what you could achieve because there was an FX 500, Yamaha FX 500, which came out when we were like starting. I knew that I could do these single lines like almost like a violin, like and it would sound like this. So I would write parts
Right.
knowing that it would go through this effect. Because if it was just me into a amp, it would be like blah, 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 like sound terrible. But
Right, right.
but you kind of work within the knowledge of what you have as what it will sound like at the end.
Right, right, right. I agree, because some musics, some musicians write music using effects already in their pedal board. Like, okay, I'm gonna plug my guitar in the pedal board and let's see what happens. But I think it's harder to do what you do because sometimes maybe you wrote a song in acoustic guitar and maybe thinking about how it's going to sound through a delay pedal. That's like you have to think like 2 steps ahead, right?
You do, but you also know that it works as a song before all of the effects, and that's kind of more important than the effects.
For sure, for
Like,
sure.
like if you could play it on a guitar in front of someone without anything else, you know, um, then you know it works as a song. You
Right.
know, it was kind of weird when we were touring America in the back in the 90s. We would often, me and Andy would go over and do like acoustic shows for like radio stations
Oh, cool.
where we had to just sit down with 2 acoustic guitars and play the songs. It was
Right,
really
right,
embarrassing and kind of, like naked. Um,
right.
but even on an acoustic, it was like a song. It worked. It didn't have to have all of the other stuff. I mean, it sounded better with all the other stuff, but it was still like a song you could just play on the guitar in front of someone, and and it was still a song.
Right. It's
So
harder, I think, to play like acoustic guitar in front of people. It makes you are more vulnerable.
yeah, it's really hard. I mean, when we did that, it wasn't comfortable, but it was like the way that it worked in the States, like getting people in a radio station kind of like will play a record if you go and visit them and do a private set to
Right.
them. Felt
Right.
terrible for us. We were like, we were only like 21, 22, and it was like horrible. but but it did make you realize that the song could survive without any of that stuff. That was the most important thing.
I have to agree with that 100%. Once you have a song written in acoustic guitar and you think it's awesome, that's all you need. The rest can either go or stay. But once the foundation of the music is sounds good already in acoustic or piano, there you go, right? I think so.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so now it's 2026, and like I said, your music, especially your guitar playing, has effects and all of that. Are you bringing those pedals into the new, well, not new, but well, I guess so, into the new era of Chapter House, or are you gonna embrace like the line sixes, like the Helix or the I forgot the other one, the those seams?
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Um, we like I said, when we first started, we there was the Yamaha FX 500, which is a multi effects unit
Ah,
that
okay,
which
okay.
came out in like probably 86 or something. Me, Nam, Simon, and the guys from Slowdive bought one, and there's one preset on that effect unit which is basically Slowdive. um, and the rest of it was just distortions, different distortions, and a wah pedal. We wanted to get away from that when we last reformed, and so basically we have like pedal boards doing it. And I wish I could pick this up and show you, but my pedal board's just down here, and I've been working on it today actually. But
Oh,
um,
cool.
it's I'm using pretty much like 4 or 5 of the pedals on the board are the ones I was using 35 years ago.
Can you tell us
In fact,
about? Yeah.
one of them is this one. Like I
Oh,
I,
wow.
I
Like
put
custom made?
well, I put my big muff into the same box as a rap because there's one song where I need to turn one on and the other one off
Ah, okay, I
So
get
I
it.
put the buttons like close so I could hit one and it would like switch to the other. And if you put both on, it's like the world exploded. So
Yeah.
so um, I actually had a box, bigger box. Um, but for this recent tour, I put the both of them in a smaller box. I managed to get them to fit. So this is a late '70s Big Muff, the same one like Billy Corgan used
Oh,
back
wow.
then,
Right,
and
right.
then this is like an '80s rap. Um, and when we were in tour in America, our guitarist is actually he has a company called Joe's Pedals. He sells like boutique pedals.
Oh, okay.
He posted a picture of this saying, "Oh, this is a rat with a big muff," and he got like loads of comments. People really like. So we might even like do like a special edition of this
Oh,
like
wow,
pedal.
wow. Like you're gonna
So,
sell
I
it.
mean,
Right, right.
maybe. Let me see. This is the box it used to be in,
Oh, wow. Wow.
which is a
Yeah.
lot bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
And then um, that's the Big Muff case that it came from.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. That looks that yeah. That looks
And
awesome.
then yeah. So but the rest actually, I'm just using kind of cheap Moore like chorus pedals and delays. Like I just want them to be small and they work and they're like
Yeah, yeah.
they're like they're still analog and they're true bypass and you know like I'm not snob about this shit. Like the people
Oh, that's
get
cool.
people get like really like you know like it's almost like train spotters
Right, right.
like about their pedals and their stuff and it's kind of it's about how they sound like not how old they are or you know
I agree, man. Well,
yeah
Stephen, we have to finish the interview. It's been a pleasure. I know we didn't talk about you coming to Mexico, but
yeah
you will probably get asked in other interviews. I wanted to dig into your creating process and your sound because I'm a nerd. But thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it. It's been a
you're very
pleasure
welcome.
meeting you. Hope we can meet in Mexico. At least I'm looking forward for your show and hope to see you soon, Stephen.
Yeah. Yeah, come say hello when we're at the show. It would be nice to see you.
Yes, I will definitely do. Thanks.
Okay, take
Have a
care.
great bye bye.
Bye bye.